What's up everybody? You're watching Magic for Beginners. We're currently creating a small video series which is aimed at beginner magicians so we can teach them different things to do with magic. Some of the main things that we're doing are with cards. So we're going to go through over different things like how to hold the cards, what the different grips are, all the basics that you need for card magic. We're also going to be covering some of the different words that I use within card magic and give a better understanding of what they are and how they use and all that sort of thing. So hopefully it's going to be the one-stop shop for beginner magicians so they can go there and learn some basics of magic before they can get into anything else. If you have someone who might be possibly interested in magic and wants to start up, give them a share of the link as well. It'd be great to get some new people on board and watch the videos. So the first video today is about some of the basic grips which you can use in card magic. The first thing which we are going to go over is your hand and the different things which make up the hand. So when we refer to them in tricks, you'll know what it is. So if you've got your hand here, this is the base of the hand. So it's this little bit here. This is your thumb, first finger, second finger, third, fourth. So again, the base of your hand, your thumb, your first finger, your second, third and fourth. And also when you're commonly talking about it's your little finger, your ring finger, your middle finger and index finger. When we do it on different things we can go thumb 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the basics of your hand. And now we can go on to talk about some of the grips. The first one I'm going to talk about is the dealing grip or the dealer's grip. So this is quite a common grip when you're sort of dealing cards down and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is talk over the basics. So you want to get your deck. Depending on what handed you are is to which hand you're going to do it. So I'm right-handed, so therefore generally with the dealer's grip I would have this in the left hand so I can deal out with the right hand. You want to hold your deck, so you got your deck like that. Place it in your hand. As you can see here, it's just in your hand. So it's in the base of your hand there. Your thumb comes up and your four fingers wrap around the outside edge of the deck. And what you want to do is slightly bevel the deck. So you can see there, it's got a bevel in it. So when you're dealing the cards off, you can easily just push them off like that. That's the basic one, that's the dealer's grip. If I do it with the other hand, see there, thumb on the outside edge, deck beveled slightly, and also four fingers on, so you can deal the cards off. So yeah, that's the dealer's grip. So the next one is just an advance from the dealer's grip, and this is called the mechanic's grip. So essentially this is the same as the previous grip, however there's a slight adjustment. So your dealer's grip is held like that. What you want to do, your thumb comes over here, and your finger goes up there. So you now held the deck like that. So that is your mechanic's grip. Again, your thumb comes over the deck like that. Your index finger comes over the top and your other three fingers go down the side of the deck. So when you've got this, you can really hold it tight. And I'll just do it with the other hand, just an example. And three fingers go there, that on top and that like that. So you can hold it tight, and that's the mechanic's grip. And when you use the mechanic's grip, it's sort of use this, so if you want to riffle down the deck, that's the grip that you're going to use. You've got the deck held with these three fingers like this, and this finger, then you can just riffle down easily. The last grip, which we're going to discuss in this video, is called the biddle grip. So what you want to do is take the deck of cards, and with the shortest side nearest you, you want to put your thumb on it. So you've got your thumb like that. Your index finger or first finger needs to be folded over, goes on the deck like that. Second and third finger go on the top of the deck, and your little finger just sort of hands down, and that is your biddle grip. So you use that when you're doing your dribbles. So you can dribble your cards like that. And there's loads of different ways you can use it. That one is the biddle grip. So those are your three basic grips with your card magic. So you have your dealer's grip, you have your mechanic's grip, and your biddle grip. And what you can do to practice them is you can alternate between them. So you can go from your dealer's grip like that, go to your mechanic's grip, and pick them up for your biddle grip. Put them back down. So dealer's grip, mechanic's grip, biddle grip. And just doing that like that, you sort of get used to it all. What you can do is just alternate between them, and you can also alternate between hands. So instead of having, if you're right-handed, instead of doing the left hand all the time, you can do it in your right hand, so you can do different tricks with that. Improves your dexterity as well for when you do more advanced moves. And today we're going to be looking over how you can square up the cards, how you can spread the cards to get a spectator to pick one, and also how to dribble the cards. So all these three things are very basic methods, and they are included in pretty much all magic tricks which you use with cards. So yeah, we're going to quickly go over those three methods, just so you've got those in your repertoire when you're learning cards and different things like that. The first thing we're going to do is look at how to square up the cards. So if you've got a messy deck like this and you have it in your hand, there's no way that you can do pinky breaks or any of the different tricks that you need for card magic. So what we're going to do is look at how to square up the cards. So first things first is when you have a messy deck like this and you want to put it in your hand. As you can see here, it's a bit of a mess, so you can't really do anything particular. So for example, you want a pinky break, you have all of these cards up here, which you won't be able to do it with. So what we're going to do is take the deck in our hand, with me being right-handed, I put it in left hand, but you can alternate as well. And only hold it between your thumb and your index finger. So those are gripping the cards like that. So you've got enough pressure on the cards, so you're actually holding them, but not enough pressure that you can't move them. So then what I do, take the other hand, take it on top, Now when you push down first, so the tops and bottoms are pretty much in line now, then what you want to do is bring these fingers around to hold the deck like you would in your dealer's grip. And with your right hand, you just sort of push them together like so. So again, if you've got a messy deck, so you want to hold it like that. So with your index finger and your thumb, just hold it like that. Other hand comes over, squishes it down to the bottom. Other hand comes up, and like that. There's lots of different ways you can do this, so even if you've got them like this, you can sort of hold them in hand, push down, and push across. But again, it's just find the way that's best for you, and the way that I recommend is, like I said, with your two hands, bring your hand up, and you can also square them down like that. And use your other hand just to square up the side like that, and then you've got a squared up deck. The next thing we're going to look at is how to dribble the cards. So once you've got your deck squared up, now it's time you can dribble them. So again, in the previous video, we learned a thing called the biddle grip. Hold your deck like this, your index finger is turned over, your thumb on the bottom, and your other two fingers on the top. So you've got the deck like this. So essentially, you can now dribble across with your hand, because you have your thumb there, you dribble with your thumb, and these fingers are holding the cards steady. So then what you can do, if you hold them above your hand, you can just dribble them down. So you see, the first time, I had my fingers too much pressure on, so it was only coming off on the thumb. So as your thumb comes down, like that, your fingers are also doing that. So when you're dribbling the cards off, they'll dribble down like that. So when you get the pressure sorted, instead of having come off and clump like that, what you can do is just do it in one motion, and they all dribble down. Just takes practice and just takes time, then eventually you'll be able to dribble them like that. And that comes in very handy for card tricks and different things. So last but not least, we're going to go over the two-handed spread. And this is a basic in card magic. As you've seen it on many tricks before. Pick a card, any card, that's what they use. This is what it looks like. So basically you spread the cards so a spectator can pick a card. Just like so. That's it. So what you want to do is hold the grip in dealer's hand, or you can go mechanic's grip. It depends on what you feel comfortable with. I usually do a modified grip. So instead of having my hands up there like that, I'll have my fingers further down, so I can easily spread the cards over. Just hold them in your hands. So for my example here, I've got my thumb on here and my fingers down here. Then all you have to do is spread off cards using your thumb, like you would dealer's grip. And while you're doing that, you keep a hold of them and you just spread the cards. So there from underneath, what I'll do is just hold it like that and you can spread the cards. Again, underneath, like so. So the best way to do it is when you push out your first few cards, you hold them like this, and I like to extend my fingers out to hold the other deck. Start to push them out, and then you can extend them out, and essentially you've got all the cards there, so you can see you can pick any card. Yeah, that's a two-handed spread, and obviously that's the one you use for pick a card, any card. You can push a card on them, or do anything else. So I hope you enjoyed that and learned something new. We learned the dribbling, the two-handed spread, and also squaring up the cards. So the squaring up the cards comes in handy with all of them. So when you do the two-handed spread, you've got your cards back that essentially, so you can do your squaring up the cards. Same with the dribbling. When you dribble your cards, you're going to have a messy deck of cards. So again, just like that, and square them up. Today we're going to be learning two cuts, and the first one up is the swing cut. So this is a very simple, easy cut that you can do, and it's a good way to lose a card or mess up a deck. So this is a very simple cut. It's used in quite a lot of card magic, and it's very easy to do, so we're going to look at doing it. So as you can see here, I've actually got a joker on the top, just for an example. So obviously you can see all the backs of the cards, and what we're going to do is do the swing cut, and using the joker card, you can actually see where the card's getting cut to, just an example. So if I was to take the joker out, and just a normal cut, that's what it would look like. So this is what your regular deck of cards would look like. All you do, swing cut, that's it completed. Now, with the joker on the top, so what's happening is, that's it. So the top card is now lost in the middle of the deck, as you can see here. There we go, there's the joker. Just going to go over the basic mechanics of this. So what's best to do is if you hold the card like the biddle grip, so like so, then what you do is extend your index finger from being curled over up to the top of the deck, like so. And what you're going to do is with your first finger, or your index finger, lift up half of the deck, or whatever amount of the deck, just swing that across. So again, finger comes from here, goes up there, picks up some of the deck, swings across. And what's easy to do is your middle finger, is if you lift that up just to give it some clearance, so when it twists around, it doesn't get stuck like that. So again, up and around. And all you want to do is take that with your other hand, take the other deck of cards and put it on top, and that is your cut. So as you can see here, that top card is now lost in the middle of the deck. So again, just slowly go from your biddle grip like that, index finger up, cut, take that side of cards, put them on top, and that is your swing cut. Simple as that. It's a good way, so if you're showing someone a magic trick, the cards on top, quickly do that. That's now lost in the middle of the deck. Super simple, super easy to do. The next thing we're going to cover is the Charlier cut. Now this one is a bit more difficult, but once you practice it, it gets easier. So again, it depends on what hand you feel more comfortable with doing it. Ideally you want to do it in your left and your right, so no matter what you're doing, you can do the Charlier cut. So the Charlier cut is a very simple move where you got one hand, split the deck, and the cards get shuffled. I'll take it in the other hand and just do a quick Charlier cut. And again, just takes practice so you can do it with both hands. So as you can see here, the deck is held by all fingers. You have your thumb on the longest edge towards you, first finger on the shortest edge, and your little finger on the shortest edge. Your ring in the middle is on the other long end. So basically what you're going to do is hold it in a grip like this. Take your thumb, lift up about half the cards, and as you can see, these cards have dropped down now. And what you're going to do, take your index finger to push them up and over and complete it. So as you can see here from this angle, what you're going to do is take your thumb to split half the cards. That goes up, index finger comes down, pushes those cards up and on top, and then you complete it. So again, index finger here on the short side of the cards, thumb, like that, splits half the deck, index finger pushes it under, complete it. And that's a Charlier cut. What I find easiest is with your little finger, if you keep that held there, that keeps the cards stuck together. So for example, if I do it here, and I don't have my little finger there, the cards go all over because there's nothing to stop them from moving. Whereas if you keep your little finger there, when you flip them up, those cards are still kept in the same place because there's no movement from the little finger. So again, you can just square them up with one hand again. You can keep doing it over and over. Today we're going to be looking at how you can take a glimpse at a card. Especially if you're new to Magic, picking up the basics is really what you need to get started with Magic and sort of progress along and do the tricks. So today, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at how we can take a glimpse of a playing card so we can use that in a card trick or to our full advantage. So the first one is a very, very easy one. This is called an out-of-the-box glimpse. So to do this, all you need to do is take the cards out of the deck. So all you need to do is take a normal deck of cards, and when you have the cards in, make sure that the face up side is near the tuck case. So when you open the deck, you open the tuck, and as you can see here, when you pull the cards out, the first card that you see is a 3 of hearts. So when you take a glimpse at that when you're taking the cards out, that would be your first glimpse of the card. So you know that this bottom card is a 3 of hearts. So you can do a multitude of tricks or forces or anything like that using the knowledge that you have that this is 3 of hearts. So that is one very easy glimpse that we can do. The other very simple method you can do is when you're squaring up the cards, you can take a glimpse at the bottom card. So for example, what we did in the previous video when we squared up the cards. So here you've got a messy deck. All you have to do is take it in your other hand and you can sort of flip it when you're squaring them up and do that. And again, when you look down, you can see that that card is a 3 of hearts because that's on the bottom. So again, your messy deck, all you do is just simply square it up. You can take a quick look like that. So just tilt the wrist, have a look, and put it back. What I wouldn't do is make it blatantly obvious that you're looking at the bottom card. So take your cards, square them up, look at it like that, and put it down. Because someone's going to find out, going to see, saying, well, I was looking at the bottom card, etc. What's best to do is when you have your messy cards, you just square them up and you're looking down like that, and you're sort of talking, making hand gestures like that. So you have them like that, talking make hand gestures. Just take a quick glimpse at it, especially if you talk with your hands and you put your hands up like that, you can quickly see it. If I'm talking to you, say, right, what I'm going to do is just take these cards and when you shuffle them, just do that. In that instance, took a quick glimpse at the bottom card and you see what's that. The last glimpse that I'm going to go over is another very basic one, but it's quite powerful when you're doing magic tricks. What you can do is take the knowledge from the previous video with the grip and take your deck of cards, and like I said, when you're doing one of the other grips, and you can riffle down so someone can choose a card. When someone says stop, you can stop. You can take a quick glimpse at that bottom card that you've picked up, which is the 9 of diamonds. Their chosen cards is in this instance the 4 of spades. So what you can do is now you know that this glimpse card is a 9 of diamonds. When you put that back on top, when you flip the cards, if you're looking through like this, all you have to do is find your 9 of diamonds, which you took a glimpse at, and the card above that is their chosen card. And another way to use the glimpse is the out of the box one, or even just a square and a bottom one. You see this bottom card here, which is 3 of hearts. What you can do is get someone to choose a card. So for example, 2-handed spread again, which we learned in the other one. Take a card, in this instance 5 of hearts, put that card on top, and we also did a swing cut tutorial, so do a swing cut. The bottom card was a 3 of hearts. So all you have to do is flick through the deck like this, look for the 3 of hearts, which was the bottom card, and now you know that the card above that, which this instance is the 5 of hearts, that's their chosen card. So that's a very easy way to learn a glimpse and some magic tricks with that. So what I'm going to do now, just go over another quick trick, and it's got the same fundamentals as what we've discussed and what we've learned in the previous videos, but adding that extra element in just to trick more people. You get yourself a glimpse. So the way I like to do it is you can do this one. So again, 10 of hearts is the glimpse one, and the Queen of hearts is their chosen card. So what you can do is put them in there, and no matter how many times you use a swing cut to cut the deck of cards, all the cards are still going to remain in that order. So you can do the swing cut as many times as you want, and the cards will still remain in the order. You can also get the audience or spectator to take the cards, split them, complete the cut. They can do it that way. You can do it on table. You can just keep swing cuts like that. So again, all you have to do is flip it over, and then you look for the card. As you can see, 10 of hearts, their chosen card, Queen of hearts. So no matter how many times you cut the cards, they will always stick together. The only instance is when you're going to have an issue is, for example, here. So the 10 of cards there and the Queen. So if I was to cut here, then my 10 of hearts, which is my glimpse card, is at the bottom of the deck. So now I know that the top card is their chosen card. So that's the only thing to look out for. No matter how many times you cut it, they're always going to stick together, apart from this one instance when your card would be on the bottom and their chosen cards on the top. So when you're doing magic and magic tricks, using a pinky break is a very easy way to get a break in the deck of cards, so you can place it below or above a spectator's card. So when you do a cut or something like that, you can always find that spectator's card. Today we're going to look over the very basics of what a pinky cut is and how to do it, and also where it's useful. What we're also going to do is learn how to take it from a pinky break to a thumb break for the next video, which is in our web series, so you can learn how to do that trick. So let's get started and get learning. So the pinky break can be used for a number of different things. You can use it to save a spectator's card in the deck so you can easily get access to it, or you can use it to actually force a card on the spectator so you can use that card for a trick. What you can do with the pinky break is get very easy access to a spectator's card. So a quick example for this one, do the two-handed spread which you learnt about. See there, that is a 7 of spades. So you can take that card, put the back in the deck, spread the card up, you can do any sort of thing that you want. Even if you just cut to it, you can get that card very easily. Obviously that was just a quick example. You want to do something more elaborate than that, rather than just saying, here, there's a card, right, there's your card again, because that's very easy to suss out. So what I'm going to do is show you exactly how I've done that, show you the pinky break, and obviously go from there. So again, with the two-handed spread, just do that. You don't have to force a card, don't have to pick any specific card, but in this instance, we have that one. So that's the Ace of Clubs, like so. What you're going to do with this other deck of cards is your pinky is going to go on the corner there, and that is going to be your pinky break. And then obviously when you put the other deck of cards on top, you want to straighten them up and hold them. From the front angle, like that, you can't see that there's any break. But then however, on the back angle, as you can see here, you've got the pinky in the break, so you can easily break off those cards, and that's the chosen spectator card. So again, as you can see there, you have a break on the cards, and from the front angle, it doesn't look like anything. From this angle, it doesn't look like anything. Obviously you use these fingers here to hide the pinky break. So from there you can do a number of different things. So you can do some cuts and different things like that, just to get the card to top or bottom. So for this example, if I was showing you, say you want to do a swing cut, you can take those cards, swing it, put it on, and the way you held the pinky break, that card has gone to the bottom of the deck. However, if I was to take that and I was to do a pinky break on top of that card rather than underneath, if I was to do that swing cut again above the pinky break, swinging it round, completing the cut, that card is now appeared on top. So it all depends on whether you want the card to the top or bottom when you're cutting the cards as to where you have the pinky. So the pinky break comes in very handy for things like the ambitious card routine and other tricks that you want to do. So for example here, the Ace of Clubs. If I want to take this card of my ambitious card routine and make it come back to the top, what you can do is take it, put it in the middle of the deck, like so, and once you've had that card, what you can do is, it's not on the top now, but if you click like that, you can turn it over and the card comes to the top. And all that was done was via a pinky break. So the pinky break in question for that one is something called a Marlowe tilt. So of course we're going to cover the Marlowe tilt on a future episode. Say for example you want to take the top card and make it the second card down, but making the element that has been lost in the deck. All you have to do is take the cards, push it over, grab a pinky break underneath. It's as simple as that. So all you do is pushing over your card, And when you pull it back, you need this pinky here, there, so when you pull it back, your pinky is now under that top card. And what you can do while you're talking about the trick, you can easily do it just by pushing it over like that, and now you've got your break. You can do that movement, it's not going to be detectable because your hand's moving anyway, so instead of looking, oh, he's done something fishy there, your hands are moving so you can't see it. Now basically for your Marlowe tills is, your card goes in second from top because you've got that pinky break, it's easy enough to push the card in, it just makes the effect look like it's going in the middle of the deck. So that's another example of how you can use a pinky break and what a pinky break is. So now what we're going to do is just a quick look at how you can take a pinky break and you want to change it into a thumb break. The same as the previous one, so you push off the top card, you grab that pinky break. And then what you do is you hold it with your other hand, and now you have that thumb break. The top card is broke with the thumb. So what I like to do is use this bit of the thumb just to get the card. So obviously your pinky break, and when you transfer your deck over, you have that grip with that little break there in your thumb, and then you can use that for a multitude of different tricks, which is what we're going to go over next with the Braue Reversal. Hope you learned some basic methods and the basic understanding of what a pinky break is and how it can be used in magic tricks. Today we're going to be looking at the Braue Reversal. So today's quick video is about the Braue Reversal, which was created by Frederick Braue. And what the Braue Reversal is, it's an easy way to take a spectator's card, reverse it in the middle of the deck so it becomes face up, or if you flip the deck it becomes face down. It's a very easy method to do and it's very powerful when you're doing it for a spectator. So we're going to jump in and look at the basic fundamentals of the trick and how you can perform this trick for others. So following on from the previous video with the pinky break and the thumb break, that's all you need to do with this. But what I'm going to do for a quick example of this trick is do the two-handed spread, which we've already learned. Spectator picks a card, this example, 4 of spades. That card goes on the top. Now what you can do is take half of the cards, flip them over, take the other half of the cards, flip them over, do a swing cut, and just like that, if you do a magical click, all of the cards are now faced up, apart from one card in the middle of the deck, which is face down. As you can see here, that face down card is the spectator's chosen card, and that is the Braue Reversal. So now you've seen a quick performance of the trick. Now we're going to go over the mechanics so you can learn that trick. What you want to do when you perform the trick, you want to put a story to it and make it a bit more exciting rather than just say, take your card, flip the cards, your card's now flipped over. On my YouTube channel, there is a video called The Cocky Chosen Card. And on that video, it uses a similar concept to the Braue Reversal to reverse a card in the middle of the deck. The way I reverse the card in that trick is different to this trick. However, it uses the same mechanics, but you can also use the same storyline or something similar for the Braue Reversal to get away with it. So what we're going to do is get a spectator to pick a card. It doesn't have to be a forced card, it can be any card. So in this case, we've got the 5 of clubs. What you want to do is grip the deck and, like you learned in the last video, get a pinky break. That card then goes on the top of the deck. So you can show that, as you can see here, there's a pinky break, but from the front, you can't see anything obvious. So the next step is to change it from a pinky break to a thumb break. We learned that in the previous video, so if you want to check it out how to do it, go check that out. So all you need to do is change the deck into your other hand. So now I've got the thumb break on the deck here. As you can see, there's a nice little gap there. So when I use that, I can do it. So what you want to do now you've got your deck like this, you want to take half your cards. It doesn't have to be an exact number, it'll be as many cards as you want. You take those cards, you turn them over and put them on top of the deck. Now, this is your current situation. So you've still got your thumb break under that one card, and you've got these other cards on top. Now what you want to do is take all these cards below that thumb grip, put them on top, and then now you just square up the deck. So the situation you have is all these cards are face up, apart from the bottom card, which is face down. So the way I like to do it, to sort of disguise the fact that that card is there, just do the swing cut, which we'll learn about in a previous video. As you can see here, once we've completed the cut, all these cards are face up, apart from one card in the middle, which is the spectator's card, which is face down. You just take that out, turn it up, and that's a 5. So you can do it that way, or there's also, you can do the swing cut, and if you lose that in the middle, you can flip the cards, and you could do a quicker visualization to say, look, all the cards are face down, apart from one card, which is face up, and that's your card. You can do it that way, however, I find it's much better when you're showing them all the cards face up, and there's one face down card, but you don't reveal it yet. They'll think, is that my card? Is that not my card? Then when you show it, it's a much better and a much more impactful trick doing it that way. So again, when you're doing the reversal, so you go from your pinky break, put that card on the top, grab the deck with the other hand, you've got a thumb break, take off half the cards, other half of the cards, and then there you go. So that card now is the other way. Like I was saying earlier, I've got a video up with the cocky chosen card, which basically I say about the story. There's 4 different types of cards: ambitious card, not so ambitious, regular card, and a chosen card. Sometimes the chosen card gets cocky, flips himself over, and that's the reason behind doing all of this. However, with the Braue Reversal, you're going to have to do something a bit different, because that story doesn't sort of fall in line with it. You can even do different things, so you can make a story about yourself. Say, I got this deck of cards when I was little, and there's always one card that doesn't abide by the rules and doesn't follow forward, so we'll see if you can find it. So you spread through, spectator picks a card, and then the Queen of Clubs. Say, oh, Queen of Clubs, it's a bit of a difficult card, that. So even if the Queen goes on the top of the deck, we take all the cards, we flip them over. She doesn't pay any attention, so even if we're losing it in the middle of a crowd, anything like that, she always has to be different, and she always plays the fool, and she always turns her back on everyone. As you can see there, she turned her back and she's been found again. Even something as simple as that, you can do that and utilise the full effect, and it's so much more impactful than just saying, I'm going to take this card here, so I take these cards, take these other cards, and then, oh, if I do this, then there's a card that I chose that was on the top has now flipped over and has done that. So yeah, we've gone through the basics of the Braue Reversal. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed it. And if you already know the Braue Reversal and you perform it, leave a comment below to say what sort of story you produce with it and what sort of story you go along to say the reasoning behind why this card has flipped over in the middle of the deck. Today we're going to be learning about the 4 P's of card magic. So for today's video, we're not going to go over techniques, tutorials or anything like that. What we're doing is something called the 4 P's, which everyone needs to learn for the card magic and other magic. So the first P is preparation, second P is practice, the third P is patter, and the fourth P is performance. So what do we mean by those? So the first one is preparation. What you have to do is prepare yourself ready to perform some magic. Some of the tricks and techniques that we've been looking at in the previous videos are all very simple. So if you perform those without any sort of storyline or anything like that, a lot of them will be uncovered very easily by your spectators. And we don't want that. We want to make them very magical and special, and we need to trick spectators, because that's the joy of magic. Seeing a trick done and not knowing how to do it, thinking, how's that actually done? That's what you want to perform for people. So for preparation, if you're going to be doing some tricks, even if it's just 1 trick, 2 trick, or a number of tricks, what you want to do is sit down and write the tricks down. So when you're writing them down, you can take 1 trick and you can have 10 different variations of that. So instead of having 10 different tricks that you're going to have to learn and master, you can have 1 trick, and with slight changes you can do that into a completely new trick, so when you're doing it for someone else, and it's much easier that way. Another good thing that you can do is, for each trick that you do, is sit down and actually prepare a story for it, or prepare something which you're going to perform it in a specific way or a specific manner. That way when you're actually performing the trick, you know exactly what the story is and how the story goes and how it co-aligns with the trick itself. Which leads us into our second P, which is practice. What you need to do is keep practicing your tricks over and over again. Either practice by yourself, look in a mirror and practice so you can see all the different angles, set up a camera, could be your phone, could be a proper video camera, set it up, record yourself doing the trick and practice over and over again. Watch it back to see where there's different aspects and elements which you're missing out on. So you might have a flash of a card or something like that, and just watch it back and see where you can prepare yourself and better yourself. So for example, if you're doing your ambitious card and you take the card from the top and you want to place it in the middle of the deck and slide that in, and you want their card to be there, if you having your deck face up when you're putting your card in, they can see what card you're putting in and know that it's not their card. So all you have to do, say for example for this one, when I was watching videos back, I could see the flash of the card, so all I do now is take the card, tilt the deck down, put it in, then the spectator can't see what card you're putting in there, so when you lift up that card, they're thinking, well, my card just gone in there. So what you're doing is basically tilting the deck forward, taking the card, sliding it in, so the spectator can't get a flash of what card's going in, so they actually believe that that's their card, and then when you take the top card and show them, that's completely blown out of their mind. So different things like that. So for example, when we've been doing the pinky break, if they were to pick a card, and then you had a pinky break, if you're sat like that showing them the cards, then they're going to see that you've got a pinky break. So watching back performances that you're performing, you can actually see, saying, oh, well, if people are standing in front of us, I need to be at this angle, so they can't see that pinky break, because if I'm stood at this angle, then they're going to be able to see it. Because that's the thing with a lot of tricks and the different sort of sleights and performances and things like that. It all depends on the angles, so the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And like I said, if you're filming it, the more you practice watching those back, you can actually see where the angles are good, where the angles are bad. I got into magic a while back, and it was when I went to a wedding fair and saw a local magician who we actually booked for our wedding, and obviously went on YouTube to see how magic tricks are done, because I was blown away of how this was done. And when I was online, I saw a guy called Chris Ramsey, which most of you will already know. And obviously there's different tricks that he's teaching. The way he's doing it, it's very angle specific. So for example, this one, which he says is his favourite card control, you take a card, you lose it in the deck, you do that, and the card appears at the top. That's very well and good when you're doing it at this angle in front. However, if I was to turn around, I say it's 6 of hearts here, lose that in the deck, you can see here, that appears on top. But from this angle, you can actually see what I was doing. So I was taking the card, flipping it up, going under, and back on top. And that's why it pays to practice and record yourself practicing, so you can test out different angles. And same if you can, get a mirror so you can see your reflection in the mirror and see if you're flashing or anything like that. So once you've done your practice, it comes to the third P, which is patter. So again, what I was saying before, instead of just doing a card trick, not saying much, say, right, take the card, put these cards on, oh look, your card's flipped over. You need more to it than that. You need some patter, you need a story, you need to sort of get people involved and get them interested in it. So you're doing your prep, your practice, your patter, and now it's time to perform it. What I found best when I was doing some performances is someone who's very close to you, so a parent, a brother, a sister, a partner, a friend, someone like that who you can go to and you can do tricks to practice on them. Because it's a lot different than doing a practice in front of a camera than actually performing it for someone, talking to them, doing the whole patter and actually trying to do the sleights exactly right on, so you don't flash or you don't spoil it or you don't ruin the trick or anything like that. So what I found best is just sort of performing with them, try to do tricks and go from there. Then what you can do is, once you've performed a couple of times for friends, you can go out further, perform for other friends. Another quite handy thing is when you're shooting videos for you to practice with so you can watch it, upload to Instagram, YouTube, whatever you want, and try to get feedback from people. So you can say, I've just uploaded this, what do you think of the video? I found it's much easier to sort of grow like that as a magician when you're posting a video, asking for tips, tricks, and see if people like it or don't like it. Then you can improve it rather than thinking, I've created this is fucking awesome, this is staying. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be awesome all the time. Sometimes it's going to be a bit shit, sometimes it's going to be great, but you don't know that until people have seen it and ask for constructive criticism on it, rather than just asking someone to knock it down and say, nah, that's shit. That's the 4 Ps that I like to follow with magic, and it's helped me quite a lot just to get an understanding of the card tricks and obviously the stories behind it, and improve myself as a magician when I perform for other people. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click on the subscribe button, click on the bell icon so you can be subscribed and get notifications of whenever we upload new videos. Hope you enjoyed the series, and if there's anything else that you want to learn or see in a future video for the series, drop a comment below and we'll get that shot. And until next time, see ya.